Hi there, fellow tech lovers. Welcome to my channel. I'm super excited because today is a special day where we are going to kick off our very first video. I will assume that you are already preparing for your CCNA and already have some knowledge about the video's topic. And I will be mostly concentrating on lab videos. By the way, I've already started a GitHub page which I will share in the description. The first video will be about DHCP, which is an absolute essential for any network engineer. I chose this topic as the first video because I noticed that after every lab we should do some testing, and activating DHCP is the best way to test the endpoints. As you know, DHCP makes our lives easier by automatically assigning IP addresses to the devices on the network. Here, I have set up a simple IP environment with routers, switches, and some computers. We are going to simulate a network scenario where DHCP first comes to our rescue. In this lab, we will be implementing the DHCP server configuration for 4 pools, VLANs. The current lab is already finished for your check, or if you want, you can do the testing immediately. When you want to do the configuration by yourself, just erase the NVRAM and reload network devices. And fast forward the time instead of waiting for the device to reset. Your tasks are: set up your VLANs, access ports, and track interfaces on your switch, set up your DHCP servers, for example, R1 for VLAN 10 and 20, R2 for VLAN 30 and 40. Set up other necessary things like track interfaces, which are going to the related routers, sub-interfaces on the routers, and etc. Excluded addresses are given in the figure. It's enough to define only 2 related VLANs on the sub and track interfaces, no more. Network addresses for VLANs are given as 10.0.10.0/24 for VLAN 10, 10.0.20.0 for VLAN 20, and so on. And the switch access port setup is like F01 to 5 for VLAN 10, and F06 to 10 for VLAN 20, and so on. After you set up your routers and the switch, you can use ipconfig/renew on the computers to get the IP addresses automatically. One thing to note here is that we just want the PCs to get their IP addresses, and in the simulation, if you perform ping tests, you will see that VLAN 10 and 20 can ping each other, but cannot ping VLAN 30 and 40. If you want to ping the other VLANs on the other router, you should create related subnet interfaces on both routers, and also add the related VLANs to the allowed VLANs on trunk interfaces that is going to the routers. Okay, now start by erasing the NVRAM of each network equipment's routers and the switch. And then we will do the reload to restart, so it will have a fresh setup. We do this for all router and the switches. Then we go to the switch and check. After reload, we fast forward and reload. As you can see, show running config, but first enable. There is nothing, everything is erased. So let's go to config terminal, and we will be first setting the access ports, but first give the host name of the switch, something like this. Then we will be choosing F01 to 6 to set the switch port to access mode. This will be VLAN 10. And then we will continue from F06. I made a mistake, it will start from 6. Okay, it doesn't matter, it will overwrite it. Switch port mode access for VLAN 20, 11 to 16, I made the wrong 11 to, anyway, it will be overwritten. 11 to 16 is VLAN 30. And if we start from 16 to 20, yes, it will be VLAN 40. And after that, we can check the connection. So 1, 6, 11 are connected. Then we will set up the trunk ports for gigabit interfaces. G02 will be for VLAN 10 and 20. The other one will be for 30 and 40. 30 and 40, yes. And let's check trunk interfaces. If they're created, doesn't look like it's created, but doesn't matter. Probably it's about IP addresses or something. Check the running config. Access ports seems like okay, and the trunk ports are okay. Okay, let's go to the router setup. But first, write setup of switch. Okay, go to router, enable, then configure terminal mode. We first put the host name as R1, and then I will G02. I will get into the G02 interface first, and to create the sub interfaces. But first I will do no shutdown because initially it is shutdown mode. Then go to the G02.10 to create the sub interface. Then I will activate encapsulation.1q for VLAN 10, and I will let the IP address 10.0.10.1. Subnet mask is /24, like this. And let's check the IP address. Sorry. Okay, like this. IP address is okay. Now let's go to PC. Put a static address first to try pinging the router. That setup is okay. I'll just put it like this. Go to command prompt, ipconfig/all. See that we have the IP address 10.0.10.11 and ping the router 10.0.10.1. First itself, then the PC. Okay, it's working. It's working. And now let's go to the other sub interface. I'll make 20. Encapsulation.1q20, and IP address will be 20.1. Okay, this is also okay. Check the IP address, show IP interface brief, then go to the PC2, same IP but pick 20. I'll put the subnet mask /24. Yes, and try to ping the sub interface of the router. IP address okay. Ping 10.0.20. First itself, then again router. Yeah, seems like okay. Now try to ping the other router, but doesn't seem like it's working. I'll check. I'll check that one. Okay, now okay, we cannot ping because of we didn't put any default gateway to ping the other router sub interface. We need a default router to go to the other subnet. Okay, now set for the PC2 1020.1 and for the PC1 10.1. Now it's pinging. Let's go PC2. It couldn't ping before. Okay, try to ping first router sub interface. Okay, now that's working. Totally working. So manually the interface setup is okay. So let's go to the router 1 to make the DHCP server setup. It was like okay, first put the excluded addresses 10.0.10.1 to how we were doing. High IP address is 10.0.10.10, and we will do the same for VLAN 20, and it will be 20.1, 20.10. Now we will create the pools. First VLAN 10 pool, let's say pool 10 or E0AP10. And then, yeah, that's it. Now what we will do, we can put a default router. So the routing will be handled. Okay, it's like this, no subnet mask. Then we will put the address of the pool. With network, we will do 10.0.10.0. Yeah, we can say 0 to 55.55/24 net mask. I think it's okay. Let's try this if it's working. It was a long time the last time I do this, so let's try if it's working. Okay. Copy configure. It still has the same IP, but we need to renew it to be sure. Okay, it has the same IP that I put, but I think okay because I renew it. So to be sure that I will first change this one to 110 and check IP address. This is 110. It's still working. Okay, let's put it to DHCP. Now renew with that. And fast forward, check. Yes, failed. Okay, now we will set up VLAN 20 pool. IP DHCP pool P20. Then the network and default router. First default router. This 20.1. Then the IP address of pool. Okay, let's try. Renew. Good, it's not 110, it is 11. It's working. Great. We can do the ping tests. if the default router is okay. Yes, it's working. Now go to the other router. We can do the same. But first put the DHCPs, not the manual. Okay, they're in DHCP, and check if they can get IP address. Copy this. Do the same for here. Fast forward. Check. Failed. Good. Okay, now enable config D. Terminal. Host name. I get an idea. We can do it like this actually. Let me show you. It will be faster. How we were doing. Okay, let's go to server 1, router 1. I think it is running config now, not the startup. Okay, let's save the running config to downloads this txt file. I guess it was like this. Okay, save it here. Successful, good. Now go to other one, load, but it will be startup config. I will put it as a startup config. When it starts after reload, it will use this one. This one, where is it? Here, this one. But first we need to change it, of course. Hostname will be R2. Change this, then I will change the 10 to 30, 20 to 40. Yes, I'll change everything. The network and default router and the pool names, just to be sure. And then I will also change the IP addresses. Let's check the interfaces first. It's also G02, so I can use the same setup here. Come here. Yes, .1Q. This is 30. .1Q 30 IP address. And everything 2 becomes 4. So, and this one. Seems like okay. Save it. And go startup config. Download. Select the server 1. And I save. Then I need to reload so it can do startup config. But no, because I don't want to say running config over the startup again. And start and fast forward. Let's check. Enter. Yes, R2 should be okay. Okay, it should be okay now. I can check. Yes. Okay, I have set up. Now let's check. Oh, it's already got. But let's renew again. Good. This is ping. We can do ping test. This is 40, so I will ping the 30. Router subinterface. It doesn't work. Or fast forward. Okay. Now it's working. Okay, everything seems fine. I will ping its subinterface, but anyway, it will work. Now, write the running configs to the startup config. Go to enable mode. I made a mistake here. Fast forward, enable write. And we can check the trunk interfaces. Now they come 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, good. Okay, now one last thing to add. As we can talk, we could ping the VLAN 20 from VLAN 10 or the other way, but we cannot ping the VLAN 30, for example, from VLAN 10. Or we can't even reach the router, second router subinterface. And the reason to do that is we don't have the subinterface, related subinterface on both routers, and we don't have anything related VLANs allowed in the trunk interface. Let's see, we cannot even ping the second router subinterface from the first one. So first we go to the switch, config terminal. We will add both the trunk interfaces. How we wording allowed? I don't want to make a new one. I want to add the 30 only now. Guess, yeah. Okay, it's like the VLAN add 30. And then, but in order to ping it, we need to add the we need to add the 10 also, VLAN 10 to G01 because ping process is both ways. So we should have related interfaces in both sides. Okay. 10. Okay, now track interfaces are okay. Now let's go to the router. Let's try to ping. Do ping. Fast forward. It's going slow. Fast forward. Okay. Yes, we need to add sub interfaces also. Let's add the router one, the VLAN 30 sub interface. 030 encapsulation.130. Add the IP address. We already used the one for the second router, so let's call it 10. It's in the excluded address range. Do the same for R2 for VLAN 10. IP address at 10 subnet mask /24 encapsulation. Then let's do the ping from here. Ping the first router subinterface. Okay, 80%. Okay, ping 30.1. Okay, and let's try from here. Okay, it's working. But we can still not ping 40.